If you're currently scraping ice off a windshield in 0-degree weather, the appeal of Southwest Florida is obvious. You trade winter maintenance for year-round boating, golf, and Gulf Coast sunsets. The move is driven by financial logic as much as lifestyle. This comparison table illustrates the 0% state income tax in Florida against the heavy tax burdens in New York, New Jersey, and Illinois. That difference can keep tens of thousands of dollars in your pocket every year. This specific tax arbitrage is why high-earning professionals and retirees are targeting Lee County. Localities like downtown Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, and Estero are absorbing a massive influx of out-of-state buyers looking to upgrade their daily lives while lowering their overhead. But securing those benefits requires navigating a local housing market that operates on a different structural model than the Midwest or Northeast. Up north, you evaluate school districts. Down here, you have to evaluate structural risk. Capturing the Florida dream means looking past the initial listing price. To protect your investment, you have to master the total cost of ownership in a complex, localized market. Take homeowners insurance. Up north, premiums are based on fire risk. In Florida, underwriting is dictated by catastrophic wind events and tropical storm exposure. And it's not just local weather. Insurance companies buy their own insurance, called reinsurance, to cover major disasters. When global reinsurance costs rise, those expenses flow directly down to Florida homeowners as higher annual premiums. Because the pricing model is so specific to risk, two visually identical homes on the same street can have drastically different monthly carrying costs. Your primary defense against these costs is the physical, structural resilience of the actual house you purchase. A property that looks like a bargain may lack basic storm protections. Buying cheap upfront can lock you into perpetual liability and skyrocketing insurance premiums for the life of the loan. The most critical factor in Florida home insurability is the remaining lifespan and structural integrity of the property's roof. This chart illustrates the financial penalty of aging structures. An older roof forces insurance costs up, risking exorbitant premiums or coverage denial. But look at the bottom right. New construction updated to modern codes requires capital upfront, but yields lower, stabilized premiums over time. To prove a home meets these standards and secure lower rates, you need a specific tool, the Wind Mitigation Inspection. The Wind Mitigation Inspector focuses on structural resilience rather than cosmetic finish. They examine roof geometry, the specific metal clips attaching the roof to the walls, the presence of a secondary water barrier, and whether the windows and doors are rated for high-velocity impacts. If you are moving from out of state, you must order this inspection and request preliminary insurance quotes during your due diligence period. Avoid waiting until right before closing to find out what a home costs to insure. Once you factor in wind mitigation discounts and insurance premiums, a newer, more expensive home often costs less month to month than an older, cheaper property. A common out-of-state assumption is that buying a property inland, far from the beach, eliminates the need for flood insurance. Florida's geography is unique. A high water table and severe summer rain events mean catastrophic flood risks exist miles away from the immediate coastline. If a property sits within a designated FEMA high-risk flood zone, your mortgage lender will mandate a separate, specific flood insurance policy. Even outside of these mandatory zones, experienced Florida homeowners maintain flood coverage. A standard homeowner's policy explicitly excludes damage caused by rising water. The cost of that coverage is dictated by the specific elevation of the home's first floor. A few inches of elevation can save thousands in annual premiums. Ignoring flood zone designations to save on the purchase price is a critical vulnerability. One major rain event can devastate your relocation budget. Southwest Florida is defined by its master-planned communities. These neighborhoods offer gated security, resort-style pools, and a turnkey, vacation-like lifestyle. The trade-off for these amenities is submitting to homeowners association governance. HOAs here dictate exterior paint colors, strict pet limits, and seasonal rental rules. Beyond standard HOA dues, many newer Florida developments utilize a specific fee structure called a Community Development District, or CDD. This diagram breaks down how a CDD works. It is a localized tax used to fund community infrastructure, like roads and water lines. It is added directly to your annual property tax bill, increasing your total annual tax burden. You can avoid these fees by looking at older, non-gated neighborhoods. You won't pay CDD taxes, but you will be responsible for your own property maintenance and security. Turnkey luxury living is accessible, but to ensure it fits your financial plan, these ongoing community fees must be calculated into your true cost of ownership. The financial success of your move also depends on the legal timing of your relocation. How much physical time you spend in Florida dictates your ultimate tax strategy. Seasonal snowbirds live in Florida for less than 6 months a year. They maintain their primary residency and tax status in their northern home state. The financial downside to this is the forfeiture of the Florida homestead exemption. This exposes the property to uncapped, rapidly rising annual property tax assessments as local values climb. Full-time residents officially declare Florida as their primary domicile by living here for more than 6 months of the year. This flowchart maps the outcome of that decision. Declaring full-time residency allows you to claim the homestead exemption. This legally caps your assessed property tax increases at 3% annually, while simultaneously eliminating state income tax. Your physical relocation timeline is as critical to your long-term financial success as the physical structure of the home you buy. Southwest Florida's tax and lifestyle advantages are significant, provided you proactively manage the state's unique insurance and fee structures. Successfully navigating wind mitigation, flood zones, and CDDs requires a local expert who understands the strict timelines of Florida due diligence. Suzanne Beloff is a Southwest Florida relocation expert. With over 25 years of corporate leadership and a background working with the area's top home builders, she guides out-of-state buyers through these exact financial trade-offs. A successful move requires a strategic, protected asset acquisition. Managing these variables ensures you can enjoy the paradise you've invested in.